A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bhavna Bhatia and I'm your host for today. Coming in the top 100 women in India, I've globally emceed landmark events since a decade plus now, and today it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to Limelight Presents E4M webinar on uplifting the short video sharing platforms with the new Gen CDNs. We're in an era of everything digital, and short video sharing is one technology which has reached all ages in the country. People are even making a career out of it and becoming influencers. Short video sharing platforms in India saw a huge jump during COVID 19, and today we have brought together the practitioners of this industry to talk about the rise of short video sharing platforms in India and its future. What are the challenges due to the increase in online traffic, and how are you solving those challenges? User expectations and online challenges in meeting those expectations. What are the challenges from a security point of view, and how are you solving those? How Limelight can help you in solving these challenges? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this webinar is going to go live on Zoom and the official E4M Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube channels today. Join us in the social revolution by hashtagging hashtag E4M webinar and share your views and comments. Also, we're doing live tweeting through our official page at the rate E4M tweets with our hashtag E4M webinar. We would encourage questions from our audience who have joined us on Zoom today. Select a few questions today towards the end of the panel would be taken up by our session chair and directed towards the panel today. Well, we wish you an engaging panel and insightful discussions. Well, now I'd like to introduce our esteemed panelists in our session today. The panel has some of the best minds from the short video sharing platforms and technology providers in India who have come together on this platform to share how this is the next big thing. Well, we've got with us Ashok Prasad, founder and CEO, 687 Communication. We've got Akshay Saini, co-founder, Tring App. We've got Bimal Karthik Reba, co-founder, Trell App. Praveen Verma, CEO and co-founder, Tanatan, who's joined us. We've also got Piyush Yadav, head engineering, Pop Exo. We've got Piyush Kumar, founder and CEO, Router Sports. Shivank Agarwal, co-founder, Mitro. Sumit Ghosh, co-founder, Chingari. Sudhir Sundrani, the head of ads monetization, ShareChat. Tushar Vora, head technology, Z5. Venki Pentakota, CEO, Dubshoot. We've got Vikrant Khanna, founder and CEO, Mogi.io. Ashwin Rao, sales director, India, Limelight Networks. And joining us at the session chair is Rohel Amin, senior editor, Exchange for Media. So, well, now it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to pass this live baton to Rohel Amin to take it forward with his panel today. Over to you, Rohel.
Thank you so much, Bhavna, for this lovely introduction, and what an esteemed panel we have today to discuss this topic. So before I proceed, I just want to briefly sum up what we have in store over the next 90 minutes. We will be discussing about building a great content versus building a strong recommendation engine. We'll be talking about the framework that you need to follow to create quality content. We'll be also talking about addressing technology gaps as far as your content distribution is concerned, and also, of course, the expectations that you have from your CDN partners. So can I have, yes, this is the slide that we have on screen. This sums up the discussion that we'll have today. And as Bhavna has also mentioned, we are live on social media platforms. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook. So you can post your questions, and in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we will post the questions to our esteemed speakers. Thank you. So we can start with a discussion. My first question I want to start with is, I want to go to Mr. Vora first, if you can hear me, Mr. Vora.
Yes, I.
The question is, we see there is a certain emphasis on great content versus building a strong recommendation engine, So how much of emphasis should go to which one is the bigger piece in that conversation actually? If you can take us through this, your point of view on this.
See, it's all, how should I put it? It's a mutual relationship between each other. Great content and in a large number poses a problem of discovery. So, for example, if you see a platform like YouTube, which is basically a UGC platform, or you go to a different platform like Disney, both of these platforms will require a very, very good recommendation engine for people who come for the first time, for people who keep coming in. It is a pain to find content, especially now that you want content to be available on your smart TV, where remote is a very difficult way to maneuver. So for the right user experience, both of these things are extremely, extremely important. And to have a very, very good recommendation engine is also very important.
Okay.
I would also like to put in here that you need to also have a very good search engine.
Right.
So that's what my take would be here.
Right. Mr. Reba, if you can hear me, I want to pose the same question to you. What is your take on this?
I think my personal view is will follow on the similar lines, right? What recommendation to us, it's kind of a binary problem. I mean, if you do not have both, most of the content platforms will cease to exist anyways, right? Because primary responsibility of a content platform is to supply good quality content at the right time, right? So if this is the single job that a platform has to do, without both of them, the platform will anyway cease to exist. Given that, also our personal take is very simple, right? So what we believe is also the content engine and the recommendation engine should come together to solve one single key objective for any platform, right? So for us also, we look at it that way. Like, the single objective that it solves on a platform is, when I talk very specific to Trell, we run this thought experiments within ourselves, right? Wherein we say ki if we get a chance to meet our users and who have spent more than a week's time on a platform consuming content, and if we could ask them who are their 5 most favorite bloggers they follow on Trell as a platform, and what kind of a content would they expect next from them. And if users typically have an answer to it, a clear answer, that is when we say our content engine and recommendation engines have actually worked well for us, right? So I think every platform should have a single objective where both content and recommendation engine come together and solve one single unified purpose.
Right. Mr. Ghosh, your thoughts on this?
So I have very similar thoughts on the the equal weightage of good content recommendation engine and the weightage on content quality. So obviously, our focus is on helping creators create really great content quality by providing them with a great camera, great creation tools, and obviously great content quality will lead to greater engagement and greater retention of the users in the app. So that is the key. Having said that, I would also like to add. So Chingari is a random content discovery engine. I mean, so people come on Chingari not because they follow someone and they want to watch their videos. They come to Chingari because they want to watch random videos which can keep them engaged. Videos from random Indians which can keep them engaged. So the discovery engine and the recommendation engine is a very different from a YouTube or a Instagram where you follow people and then the engine tries to recommend you the best content of the people that you follow. So the class of recommendation will be very, very different is what I'm trying to add.
Right. So Mr. Agarwal, if I have to ask you the same question, that what is the emphasis that you put between great content versus building the strong recommendation? What is your take on this? If you can hear me, Mr. Shivang Agarwal.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
My take on it is good content is a byproduct of a good recommendation engine. So what is a good content? It's a content that people like. So it's in terms of quality as well as, it's of my interest, right? For example, a content can be good for somebody, not be good for me, right? So obviously a recommendation engine will solve that problem for you. So I
Right.
think if the focus is on the recommendation engine, the first part is automatically solved.
Right, right. Mr. Venki, you seem to be keenly listening to this one. Yes, please, your thoughts on this.
Yes. Uh, so as many of our panel members said, like we have to give the equal importance to the both quality of content and the good recommendation engine. If you see that there are some people also need to discover, they want to. It's not like one recommendation engine can fulfill all the needs of the user base, because every segment of users have different thoughts perspective and different needs. So we need to give multiple options even for the users also to discover, or like to segment the content in different formats. Along with you club the recommendation engine, that's where you are able to meet all the expectations of the different user segments.
Right. Mr. Prasad, I want to bring you in at this point to get your thoughts on this subject. How would you describe it? Sorry, your audio is a little low. Yeah. It's still not there. So I'll just wait and come back to you till it's fixed. I'll just go to Mr. Verma with this, with his thoughts on this topic.
Yeah. So am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So actually, there's a two things in recommended system and the quality of content. Actually, both the things are dependent on each other. Like if we go for like a quality content, it means like if we have like some quality content that it can be viral in one day. Like great quality content can will viral you in one day. Like there are lots of videos on internet that goes viral in just a one day. So like for that we consider it's a recommended system. So other things like that, if we go for recommended system, then the recommended system is like different for different categories. So like I'm from native Rajasthan, so I'm looking for some native videos from the Rajasthan. So like for the recommended system help me in like to categorize these things. But the like for our Panatan app, basically we are doing like giving the same priorities for the content quality as well as the recommendation system.
So, Mr. Yadav, what approach do you follow?
Thanks, Royal. I think my approach would be a little different. And what we do is the recommendation engine is more of a thing which goes on, improving itself over time, because we put a lot of AI ML in it. And it's not equal approach, which I'll say that, kind of like a 50-50 thing. We are not doing it. First, you need to have a good and a quality and sporadic type of content from every kind of users you have to cater that. So the focus on content should be more what I suppose. And then when you have this kind of a vast content catalog, then only your recommendation starts working fine. So you need the content quality to be catered first, in my opinion. But of course, every platform depends. But Popexo, it's we are not doing UGC. It's mainly the content which is created by our own creators. So we focus on the content first and then recommendation later. But yeah, the importance is there. Yeah.
Right. Mr. Piyush Kumar, if you can hear me, how do you see this? The duopoly, I mean, this kind of competition between content and the CDN part of it. How do you see it?
The competition between content and CDN you mentioned, is it?
No, I mean, the strong recommendation reason. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we have had a journey over the last 3-4 years where we have dealt with first being a media platform, then we became a UGC platform. I think the biggest differentiator between a media channel or a media platform versus a UGC platform is the personalization, right? From a user perspective, how personal you are making that person feel in terms of how much platform knows him or what is the kind of content being served is extremely important. one thing that we need to realize is that in a UGC platform, there are about 1 to 1.5% of users who create content. The rest 98% consume content, right?
Right.
So while at Router, so we are a gaming and a sports UGC platform, so we are currently doing extremely well in terms of game streaming. While the focus is on the supply side to get good creators, get good content, ensure it is interesting, etc., etc. We have good features, but
Right.
it will only work if the rest 98% of people are finding the content as per their need, and therefore, I mean, the recommendation engine is a very, very important part of it. Again, for a startup, even in our journey, if you look at, it's not that something you'll get it right from day one. It's machine learning. It takes its own time. It only does well when you have a lot of user data. So you need to sort of put a lot of effort behind it, and sometimes it takes maybe 1 to 2 years to get it right. I mean, TikTok took almost 2 to 3 years to get to a stage where they exactly serve you the video that you would end up watching and not skip the app, right? So it's an extremely important part, but yeah, I mean, I personally feel one needs to think a lot for the 98% of users who are consuming content as well.
Right. Mr. Rao, I want to bring in a different perspective. I want to bring in your thoughts on the subject. How do you see this play between the two? We've heard everyone. So what are your thoughts on this? So sorry, your audio is muted.
Oh, sorry, Rohel. Hi, everyone. First of all, I apologize for being late to my own show. I was with a customer, so I had to wrap that call up before I could join. So my humble apologies. I think we're talking about content versus recommendation.
Right, that's true. That's right.
Okay, so I've had the pleasure of working with a personalization company before I joined Limelight. And I think I heard a lot of people saying that machine learning is difficult to mature. I cannot agree more to that. It's all depends on the size of the user base, the size of the data which we collect. I think in today's world, I think content is still king. I think if you don't have good library, then your audience won't come to your app. It's only after you have a good library then you can provide options of relevance to your users, right? If you look at the Netflixes and the Primes of the world, or even the short video app platforms, right? They have a very rich library. And then they have the luxury to personalize the library for their end users, right? So I think content is still the most important thing as per my choice. It's different for UGC, but non-UGC platforms. And then, the recommendation engine is only an enabler for the users to access the right content at any time on any device. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on this.
Right. Mrs. Sundrani, if you can hear me, I want to, yes.
I can.
Yes. So your thoughts on this question?
No, I mean, I think everyone has got the nerves right. So right now we are kind of operating in a vacuum where, say, TikTok is gone and the users are searching for places where they can find right content, right? I mean, but the long-term play will work only if the creators are happy on one side and the users are happy on the other side. I think personalization is very important from creators' happiness perspective as well, because either you might want to work with a smaller set of creators, which probably becomes a very difficult game to sustain, right? You want to have a bigger, broad base of people who would produce content for you, and their kind of, I should say, what's in there for them for producing content, right? I mean, they're looking for some kind of an incentivization, and for that, their content should surface more at right places. And if it's going to surface more, you can probably incentivize them, right? So I think from a long-term sustenance perspective, personalization is the key.
I have 3 more perspectives to get before I move to my second question. Mr. Khanna, your thoughts on this?
Actually, to me, I think everything starts from 2 fundamental questions. The first is what is the positioning of the platform, and second is whom are you targeting? Who's your target audience? if you're a premium platform targeting, slightly more upmarket audience, then you will have a different take on the content. You would rather focus on the quality of the content and the editorial environment that you create, rather than the sheer volume. But if you're a UGC platform targeting Bharat, then your strategy should be entirely different. It has to be a huge focus on enabling and really democratizing, the whole video space, enabling each and every individual who can potentially create content to start creating content by, as like one of the speakers said, enabling them through better filters, better camera features, better animation, AR, all of that stuff. Yeah. So I think it's really about that. Your strategy is a function of these two variables. It all starts with whom are you targeting, and then what's your positioning.
Mr. Sani, sorry to keep you waiting. I know you are out on the road. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. So, sorry, your thoughts on this?
Very honestly, for me personally, content is king. I am a firm believer that you just simply cannot sell shoddy content. So if you don't have good content, no matter how hard you may try or whatever good your distribution or recommendation channels are, you will not be able to sell it. And I would have kept the same line of thought, but of course, having heard my peer panelists and also being in the industry where we are creating video content, video is the new autograph, is one content. We've come to realize that content is very personalized. So I can't sell the same content to everyone. Now, we've had some of the celebrities who created fantastic, absolutely emotionally touching content and which have, been superbly appreciated by the fan or the user who booked that content. But if I were to sell the same content to, all my users, not everyone's going to appreciate it. So you gotta realize that content is personalized, and you got to have a very strong recommendation engine which would understand what the user wants and then present to them content which is to their liking.
Right. Mr. Prasad, I think earlier we couldn't hear you. Can you hear me? Right. Your thoughts on this, and then we move to the next question. Yes. Oh, the audio is still low actually. There's some issue with the audio. I will come back to you. I'll move on to my second question for this panel. We all talk about creating great content, and we all know the importance of it. And maybe there is a rule book, a playbook to it. People say there is not a specific rule book to it, but there is a sort of an approach that always pays you. So I want to understand from you, this is my next question, that what framework do you follow to create quality content? And I want to begin with Mr. Ghosh. Is there any particular playbook to it?
So we are a 100% UGC platform. It's a democratic platform. Creators come to the platform. They get a fantastic camera app with some amazing filters and editing tools. We have an audio library, audio library and a library of dialogues. They can use that and show their creativity and then create content. So our playbook is very, very simple. Give the best tools of content creation to our users, and then let their creativity flow. Let them be creative about it and do whatever they want in the platform. Now these creators are very, very demanding. So it's very important that you give them the distribution. You get them the reach that they are used to with in some of the apps that they were earlier before moving to Chingari. So that is the key problem that we are trying to solve at the moment. Getting them the reach, that kind of engagement that they were used to earlier. And yeah, that's our playbook.
Right, great. Mr. Reba, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, talking about Trell, our approach is a bit different because with Trell, we are building India's largest lifestyle video platform.
Right.
Most of our creators are creating content around interests such as beauty, personal care, fashion, home decor, DIY. So if you look at these segments or these categories in which they create content, apart from simply having creativity or ability to package the content in a better way, there's also a certain amount of information or subject matter expertise our creators are supposed to have on the platform, right, to become a leader at the end of the day. So,
Right.
I mean, from day one when we started Trell, right? From the day one itself, we started. Before starting the platform, we started a grooming program, right? So, which talked about the grooming program specifically talked about imparting the subject matter expertise, because at the end of the day, for us, content equal to strong creator community, and because the content is lifestyle, it has to be trustable and should be coming from someone who understands the subject well. So we've been investing in this grooming program from day one, and today we are bearing fruits after 2 long years of investing into this and grooming this creator community. So that is the approach that we have. Yes. Right now we are in the grooming program also evolves along the way, right? So it started off being more personalized. Now it's kind of a self-serve where we have plat platforms, websites, multiple online touch points where people can come interact with us, know or to better understand, how to create more engaging and meaningful content. So that's how we look at, quality content.
Mr. Shivank Agarwal, I want to come to you with the same question. What is your approach? What rules do you follow? Sorry, your audio is muted.
First of all, we need to understand our users. So when we talk about democratizing, video creation, we need to understand that all the users don't have the same, phones. So somebody would have the high-ended phones and somebody more on the community phones. So can we at the software level that at least on the software side, you have those quality features in terms of filters so that the end video content is of the of the similar quality as created from the high quality phones. So one thing is that you should keep in mind. The second thing is not every video creator is professional, right? So they're the casual users, and can we have those content which are very user friendly, right? Even those who are using the application for the first or the second time, they'll feel very comfortable, very intuitive to create the video content. So I think these are factors which determine that the content is, the content created on a platform has a high bar in terms of quality.
Right. Mrs. Sudrani, if I want to ask you, what is the playbook for creating great content?
I mean, the recipe is pretty simple. Like everyone is covering the same things. So we want to create as many tools as possible, which are easy to consume. They should be intuitive for the users. I mean, that's kind of the key to making the content creation democratized as such, right?
Right. Mr. Yadav, your thoughts?
So, Popexo is a platform for the women and by the women, and we focus greatly on creating content which is related to women. So anything and everything which is related to women from her schooling to the old age. And we're talking about Indian women over here. We cater to the Indian category. Also, we make sure that your content is, in the category of beauty. It is in the category of fashion. It should be relatable to the Indian women, the described age which I told you about, and also the lifestyle. Our audience as well as our team is a mix of young female audience. So the concepts are within, it is in our team only. So what we'll do is, we will have, whether it's finance team, tech team, whatever. We do not care about if it is, which team they belong to, but we have everyone rope in for the quality concepts for these kind of videos, what we do. And then when you talk about the question is like, following kind of framework. The framework, what I'll say is that keeping all these things in mind, what I told you about the type of content we are creating, we also make sure that our videos are actually answering a question. They are offering a solution to a practical question. The video which you are listening, where it shows that we are listening to the public and catering to their needs as well. And of course, in the end, it is driving the traffic. We don't want that, we see a video and it's not driving the traffic to us from other social media platforms. So we want to see that as well. So these kind of frameworks we follow.
Right. Mr. Mora, is actually creating differentiated content challenging, because we all know the rules are the same, but I mean, it's like, why my mom's recipe is different from somebody else's mom's recipe. But I mean, what makes it so differentiated, outstanding? How to create that content? How do you do that?
Can you allow me to just talk about the last question a little bit?
Sure, please.
then I can come to this. See, one of the major challenges in user-generated content is copyright. It is very, very difficult to technically and um, technically figure out whether the content that has been uploaded is the one which the user is claiming his or her, or if the user puts in some music from some other place. It might be very, and with the laws that have come in, it is at the platform which has to take the brunt of any such issue that is coming in. So in the previous one, this is what I would like to add, that it's very important that all UGC platforms somehow or the other adhere to copyright infringement and create a system by which they are able to knock down content easily.
Right.
Sorry, now can you ask the other question?
So creating great content. I mean, we have kind of heard all the perspectives. What kind of framework or approach do you follow to ensure that you create that great content, that sticky content that we call?
See, Z5 as a OTT platform is blessed with a lot of content which it already has. And when we create content and the content is consumed on the platform, a lot of data is generated out of it. And we have been doing originals. We have surpassed even all the other big players put together. Z5 has come up with more originals in the last year, more than 100 actually, in regional as well as Hindi language. The framework that we follow in creating content is very data oriented. We are able to look at a scene by scene engagement of users and what kind of users those are, what kind of content do they like. And that is what we give back to the content team, that the cast, what kind of cast should you have, what kind of scenes is what people like, these kind of cluster of people likes that kind of scene, and so on and so forth. And then we leave it to the creativity of the creative team to modify their stories accordingly to suit the needs of the user. So it's a very user-led, data-led framework that we are able to provide to the creators.
Right. Mr. Kumar, your thoughts on this?
See, we our playbook on content is very, very different. We like a lot of platforms here, and I've seen how Chingari, Trell, many other such platforms have done exceedingly well in the last few weeks. For us, one of the reasons we are different from everybody else is because we go after the sports content creators and game streamers. So we truly believe that for us, we are a creators first platform, and therefore our attempt right now is to go and sort of reach out to the best game streamers all across the country. Particularly for us, for example, the focus is in the southern markets, and we have almost top 50 streamers from there. So the idea is to get them here, create a lot of value for them here, which they usually won't get, say, streaming it on a YouTube or any other channel. We are also talking to many influencer management agencies to get them brands. So we are sort of training them to become not just a game streamer but also become an influencer. And for now, that is the focus. And as they are spending more time and creating more content on our platform, we are also seeing a lot of users join us every day.
Right. Mr. Khanna, how do you see this? I mean, what is your recipe to creating this great content?
We are not a content platform, but I'll still give you my view on it. So I think the right ingredients for a great content is something that adds value to all the three stakeholders. The content creator, the platform, and also for the content consumers, obviously, because 99% of the whole ecosystem is the content consumers. So for the content creator, it has to give him, I'm talking specifically now in context of the UGC apps, where necessarily it has to give that content creator their moment of fame and glory.
Right.
For the platform, it has to obviously, satisfy all the KPIs, which, from a business standpoint, they look at. And finally, for the consumer, it has to be, fun, engaging, entertaining, and all of that. Now that's a heady mix to ask for, right? Something which
Right.
satisfies all the three stakeholders.
Right.
So typically, what is usually seen in the short format video environment is that you have stuff which is topical, stuff which is sensational, stuff which is uh, a bit, let's say, scandalous at times. So, you have all these themes going, right? And it has to have a balance of these ingredients. The masala has to be just right for it to strike the chord with the audiences. So I mean, to me,
Right.
I think that's the right definition of quality content in the UGC context.
Right. Right. Mr. Rao, I want to bring you in this conversation. What is your observation on this? So, sorry, your audio is. Mr. Rao, I mean, can you hear me? Okay, I'll just come back to you. I want to go to Mr. Saini at this stage, to get his thoughts on this. Yeah.
So as a platform, what Ring does is we have celebrities who give
Right.
personalized video shout outs for users. So a common person like you or me can simply go on to Ring app and we can book
Right.
a video shout out from a celebrity. So the
Right.
premise that we're selling is permanent memories that
Right.
can be cherished and shared with friends and family. Now, because our
Right.
content creators are not, general users, these are
Right.
celebrities who do this on a daily basis, and they are, right at the top of their game. We don't really have to give them a playbook. They already know how to create quality content. However, we do
Right.
guide them on, there are certain guidelines which we share, which are like Vikrant Khanna said, that
Right.
it's usually theme based. So who is the user who's going to get the message? What is his message? What's the occasion for which he's requested a message? So it can be something which is very peppy. It can be something which is a lot of love. It can be something which
Right.
is an absolute roast. It can be something which is a very comedy thing. So depending on who the content is for, the celebrity is guided on to what sort of content it has to be created. But of course, the bottom line is you're trying to create content which has the potential to go viral.
Right. There's already a waiting audience for it, of course. Mr. Rao, if you can hear me now.
I can, Rohel.
Yeah, yes,
Just
yes.
had a small audio problem.
So just want to understand your thoughts on this question.
In terms of, look, we're on the CDN side, right? So
Right.
we don't get into the depths of actually who's creating the content. Our job is simple: to take it from the customer to the customer's customer. But we hear a lot of feedback from the customers we talk to. Over the years, I've spoken to a bunch of customers across different video platforms. I can talk about India.
Yes.
In India, the markets, India is a unique business, right? It's a very, very challenging business. The diaspora of clients, the cultures, the kind of people, language in which you create content is very unique. I mean, I don't think any country has that. From my perspective, I think, the industry is branching out into niche content creating providers, right? You have the MXs of the world, Z5 of the world, who are building their own genre of content. I see gaming coming into the OTT industry, for example. It's no longer about just delivering high quality videos and rich library and movies and serials and stuff. I see a lot of OTT players designing gaming content, which can improve user interaction, customer acquisition. I see a lot of players focusing on e-learning, who are building a different type of content strategy. And then the UGC platforms, like some of our distinguished guests here, I think one of their biggest challenges: how do we capture pan-India? Do we start hyper-local and then expand? Or do we go pan-India and then figure out what's our best secret sauce? So content strategy, it's a difficult question to answer. I mean, it depends on the business you are in. If you're on audio, some customers, the short video app industry are focusing a lot on audio, right? So their content strategy is different. But it's overall, I think it depends on what business you want to be and what market you want to go after and how your monetization model also works. That depends on the content, and it kind of correlates to that as well. It's a tough question. It's a tough question, Rohit.
I know. It's always like, it always kind of eludes you. You always it's such a question which is never kind of fixed. Mr. Prasad, I hope we can hear you this time. We really want to get your thoughts on this, creating great content and the framework that should be there or that is being used, the best approach. Can you hear me? I think there's still some issue, but that's fine. I mean, we'll move to Mr. Venki at this stage. If you can share your thoughts.
So definitely the content, any platform need to provide like creative tools to generate the especially for the content creators, and we can't like stop like, okay, we are providing like, okay, some 100 number of tools to create the content. So it's like on a daily basis evolving. Like we need to, because people are also expecting, users also expecting different filters or video effects and kind of different ways of generating the content. So as a platform provider, like it's not that like, okay, this has been done, this framework is working now, we can sit and relax. So it's not like that. So we have to keep understanding the user requirements, and we have to follow the users based on that. Like we have to provide various tools. So that is the best strategy to generate the content.
Finally, Mr. Verma, your thoughts, and then move to my next question. Maybe Mr. Prasad will also, after Mr. Verma, I'll come to Mr. Prasad. Yes, Mr. Verma.
So for that, to create a great content, so there's not like a fixed framework or like not a fixed playbook. So for us, we are taking feedbacks from the loads of creators. Like we have like a lot of creators right now on our platform. So we'll get some feedbacks from the creators. Like as we are new in the market, so we got lots of feedback from the creators. So according to it, we make our app or we make our platform to make a quality content. So right now their demand is the shooting camera. So the shooting app or any app that they are using, that should be very great, and filters in that app, it should be also great. So as we know that most of the users that are on our platform or any other social media platform, so they're coming from the TikTok, directly from TikTok, most of the users and most of the creators. So they're used to TikTok and their ad filters. So they want just similar to TikTok, similar filter to TikTok, similar template for the any other app. So if you go for a great content quality, so or if you talk about the framework, so it should be that platform that you are providing to the users. So it should be shooting thing and other filter, it should be great.
Right. Mr. Prasad, I hope we are lucky now to hear your thoughts. It's very low, unfortunately, still. And I just want to make an announcement at this stage that we are live and we will be taking some questions at the end of this discussion. So please keep sending us the questions. And I want to move to my next question. We all have these, of course, business goals, and we envisage going to the next level. So my next question is precisely that what would your application look like in the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you see yourself from 3 years from now? So I want to start with Mr. Ghosh again. Your thoughts on this?
Sure. So Chingari will be a very different company from what it is today. So we grew organically to this 25 million plus users, and going forward we'll see a lot of organic and inorganic growth, and a lot of stuff will happen. So there will be music licensing deals that we will be announcing shortly. Then there will be celeb and influencer tie-ups, brand deals that we will be announcing. So I mean, the product at the company will evolve into a very different level, and it not just be India focused. We have global ambitions. What we were able to do in India here, we would like to do that at a global scale, build this out into a global company, an Indian tech story built out of India, but for the world. So
Right.
that's where Chingari would be in the next 2 to 3 years.
Nice.
Great. I want to request everyone to stick to like maximum 1.5 minutes so that I have more questions to add. Mr. Agarwal, your thoughts on this?
Sure. Definitely, on terms of quality, there should be a lot of focus, and what we'll see experience which is similar to global counterparts would be there in terms of videos that people want to see, and in terms of the creation tools. We'll see emergence of different sets of categories. What we have seen is we have been focusing on one category, but in the future there will be multiple categories, and different age groups will be catered into, as a target audience.
Right.
Of course, we have the global, ambitions as well, and we'll be seeing a lot of focus going global in the times to come.
Great. Mr. Reba.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question. How do we envision the platform? I do not know. I'm not a fortune teller to say how the platform would look like in 2 to 3 years. But what we know for the fact is the vision that we have.
Right.
It's a 10-year problem statement that we're trying to solve, right? At least when we talk about helping Indians to upgrade their lifestyle. And, we have 500 million population who's coming online. And our primary responsibility is to help them with meaningful content, right? So that they are able to make meaningful decisions in their life. So this being the vision, obviously for us, again, as I talked about, right? Our content delivery happens to our influencers on the platform. So we'll be focusing heavily in terms of developing these key opinion leaders in India in Indian languages, right? So we would be partnering with them in their journey, making them famous, making them available at all points of time, and helping them to create this meaningful content. So what we could definitely say in 2 to 3 years time, the best of and the biggest of lifestyle influencers in India would be on Trell as a platform, creating this content to Indian users in Indian languages. So this is what I'd see.
Right. Mrs. Sundrani, where do we see ShareChat in your view? What is the plan?
The plan for ShareChat is that it's basically a social network for Indians who do not understand English. We are not changing our mission statement. That's what we will be. What we want is that, say in a year's time from now, I go out and ask 10 people on road, do you know ShareChat? We want at least 7 people to say, yes, we know ShareChat. That's the mission statement for which we're working.
Perfectly summed up. Mr. Yadav, your thoughts?
What I like to refer is to a report which I saw a few months ago, actually, from Hotstar. So, there were some interesting key points which I saw on the audience segmentation, and 45% of the total entertainment was consumed by women. There was a very interesting number was that 41% of Game of Thrones viewers also watched Hindi family dramas, right? And 40% of the video consumption was again from regional content. So I think my or Popexo's strategy would be on the content side, where we create regional content more. Also, the internet penetration has gone really up. And in 2-3 years, when you say, I'm expecting it to go up by 60-70%, where we are talking about tier 3 and 3-4 cities. So that kind of regional content is to be catered. Again, women will be the big consumers, so we have to cater that as well. So this kind of strategy we are looking, and the content size and the volume of content what we'll be producing will be much more than what we are doing right now. Yeah.
So Vora, already disruption has, your brand has already disrupted the content space. So what next from here? Where do you see in the next 2-3 years? What is the vision?
Z5's vision is fairly clear. So in the next maybe about 15 days, we will launch our UGC platform, which we call as Hippie. Hopefully by end of the year 2021, we should have launched our music platform, if not earlier than that. and the whole vision is to provide entertainment to our customers. Z's, when Z had sold uh, 10 Sports to Sony, there was a bond of certain 5 years that Z cannot enter sports, which should end in 2021. So in 2022, we start challenging Hotstar as far as sports is concerned. So that's how we are looking at it, and let's see how it.
Perfect. Mr. Kumar, your thoughts?
Yeah, for us, it's a pretty simple one. We want to be the #1 player in game streaming in India. To a certain extent, be like what Twitch is to the world, which is they are very big in game streaming, as well as now they have a lot of sports content which they are covering and generating. So yeah, so in both, when it comes to the maximum number of sports content being generated, as well as game streaming, we want to be the leading player in the country.
Right. Mr. Khanna, your thoughts? Mr. Khanna, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. So actually, we are a video tech company, and I think to us, the whole discussion about, how we see this space evolving actually starts with what are the fundamental problems that this industry is facing and going to be facing in future. So to us, we believe the biggest problem today is of customer retention, and customer retention has its roots in issues such as buffering. Globally, it is a fact that the demand for streaming is overtaking capacity, and that leads to buffering. And especially if you look at peak time traffic, peak time traffic is usually between 5 to 10x of the average traffic, and no content platform can capacitize themselves keeping the peak in mind, because that's hugely inefficient. And there is data from Conviva. There's a research which I'd like to quote, which says that a platform's churn risk increases by 58%, even if their users experience buffering during 1% of their total viewing time. So that's a lethal sort of a challenge that platforms are grappling with today. Second issue is that of video quality. And there's another research which is from Akamai, which says that customer engagement can jump by up to 20% if the video quality is superior. And we are actually very focused on solving problems such as these. We have technologies which are addressing these problems already, but we are our vision is to have a buffer-free video world. Our vision is to deliver really impeccable quality videos, which are of very optimized size. So we are constantly working in that direction, and I believe in future you'll find more and more technologies moving in that direction, which will enable both the platforms and the customers via that route.
Mrs. Sani, I mean, you have spoken about how there's a unique connect with the kind of content that you're making. So, what is next? I mean, where do you see yourself from 2 years from now?
It's a very interesting question, Ruhel. In terms of the goals for the platform, the goals are very evolutionary because the space itself is quite evolutionary. So I can't really comment on what the immediate goals of the platform are. But I think we've got our vision very clear. We're creating a digital marketplace for celebrities to bilaterally engage with their fans. So, you know how we're already delivering happiness to several thousands of fans every day. And we're doing this because fans try to reach out to celebrities on popular social media platforms, but they may or may not get a response. They may or may not get an engagement. But through Tring, they get an assured engagement. Now, we want to continue doing that, but in the years to come, we're going to do this through more products. So today we offer video messages, we offer video calls, we offer text chats with celebrities, and we're going to keep adding products to that portfolio, just with the intent to make sure that the interest for the celebrities and the fans is engaged on the platform itself.
Right. I want to bring you, Mr. Rao, here. I mean, though already Limelight has a huge presence and scale is large, but when you talk about scaling, well, what is the? I mean, is there again? What are the best practices to scale up, according to you? If I put it this way to you.
Just build capacity. I mean, build capacity. You heard people say that supply is less than demand. India's got a huge population, 150 crore people. The internet adoption. We're a mobile-first country. Internet adoption is on the rise. Geo's throwing some really aggressive plans. Build more capacity. I mean, I think the biggest challenge for, we in India at Limelight, we are, quadrupling our capacity by the end of this year, right? And we're not doing that because we're doing that because we're getting a great response from the market, whether it's sports, whether it's videos. We are working with a lot of big players. We have a huge influx of international customers delivering traffic to Indian customers as well. That's another thing. So I think just build capacity and then help customers innovate, keep things simple, work with their business priorities, and we are here to serve them. It's a crowded market. There are some early players, there are some players which will come later, and you will have innovation again and again. So build capacity, solve security challenges, solve personalization challenges. And I think, the rest will follow. For the CDN business, it's as simple as that.
Mr. Venki, your thoughts? Where do you see your application in the next 2 or 3 years?
As we are focusing from the beginning, like on the mostly on the user engagement part. So we are going to stick to that, and whatever the users we are going to acquire, so we are going to give it different various tools and engagement tools to increase the retention rate, especially in the short form video, especially this kind of UGC platforms. The retention is very key part. So maybe we may get a number of downloads, but how many people are going to stick with the platform is critical. So we are going to more focus on the next 2-3 years to working on that user engagement part.
Right. Mr. Verma, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like for us, like we are looking in 2 to 3 years, like for like as we know, like loads of people like put status in like their WhatsApp story, Facebook story. So like we want that thing from the status is like that really goes from our app. So like everyone that want to put a like status, they want to put like something like want to see some great video, great like great quality content. So they just know what a name is, that is Tanatan. So like if you want to watch some like some videos, some like want to like entertain yourself, then you just go for Tanatan. So like we want that craze in people, and like for like creators and for like other people that who are talented, who want to showcase their talent. So for that like we want to make that platform. So like every people from the root level. So like if like he or she want to like showcase their talent or want to like become a celebrity in India. So like Tanatan is the right platform for them. So we want that craze.
Mr. Prasad, I will again try to reach out to you if we can hear you. Oh, I'm still very low. I am so sorry. I mean, it's difficult. Okay, let me try. Okay, you can just try maybe. Very less. I mean, it's barely audible, actually, barely audible. That's the problem. I'm so sorry. I mean, I have to just move on to next set of questions. Let me see. My tech team would reach out to you. Maybe they'll just try to fix it up. So the next, I want to combine my next two questions in the interest of time. We have around 30-35 minutes. I'll follow the same order because it's kind of easy to kind of get these answers quickly. First of all, are you trying to build a global or just a brand that is catering to India market only? And the second part of the question is that what technology gaps are we seeing today to deliver the best experience possible? I want to start with you, Mr. Bora, on this question, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very well. And Z5 is a global brand. We cater to South Asians all across the world. And we do have Korean content and Indonesian content. And Z is actually the second largest broadcaster all over the world globally. When we talk about global, there is a huge amount of challenge because your major revenue and customers are coming from India. So you want everything to be very India focused. For example, we use AWS Mumbai as our data center, and to be able to then give a similar performance to people who are globally. One of the major providers who come into play are the CDNs, like Limelight, where the content is cached at various nodes across the globe, excuse me, at least very well in Middle East, in Africa and Europe, and also in North America. So they are one of the big ones, and then you need to technically also create your APIs in such a way that they are regionally easily accessible with as low latency as possible. The other issue comes in is the content rights, uh, and the advertising deals that happen in a particular country. So, for example, if I have a movie which is available only in India and not anywhere else, how does the Google search engine call that particular content for me? But if I have a content which is only available in Middle East, then how does Google search engine find that content for me? While no one else can find, but only the search engine can find. And that search engine is not showing that content in any other country but only here. So there are a lot of technical issues which need to be counted.
Right. I want to request everyone to mute their audios while they are not speaking. I want to come to you, Mr. Ghosh, with the same question. I just want to repeat it once. One is that are you building an Indian or a global brand, and what technology gaps are we seeing today to deliver the best experience possible?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, as I already mentioned, we have global ambitions. In fact, as on date, as we speak, we have people from Middle East logged into Singari and watching videos. And these are, and Indians all over the world. I think 2% of our daily actives we are seeing is outside India as on date. And going ahead, we obviously have a global ambition. Talking about the technology gaps, I think this is for the first time. So far we haven't seen an Indian company build this kind of scale, serving millions of videos, and build a recommendation engine at this scale. So obviously, hiring. So there will be a lot of technological or technology-based innovations coming out of these companies who are attempting to solve this challenge. It could be at the compression, it could be at the transcoding, it could be at the file storage levels, or how you are storing these video files and serving. So a lot of technology, real technology challenges are there that could be addressed and solved by these companies who are attempting to build this, build a large company in this space.
Right, Mr. Agarwal, your thoughts?
I mean, definitely we have seen. Answered about a global ambition. On your second question is,
what the technology gaps? Yeah.
What we are seeing is for the first time, especially in the content domain, Indian companies are, pitted against, foreign counterparts. So in that sense, I mean, what we have seen the last decade, there have been a lot of e-commerce thing or something, a business where, more and more operations was required. This is the first, time that we are seeing product-centric, startups coming on. So what we are seeing is in the coming years, we'll see a lot of, innovations will come in terms of, technology. For example, complexity of what Sumit was saying, recommendations, especially what we are seeing in the CDN and infrastructure around that, we'll be seeing a lot of commitment from the global players would be coming in. So obviously, data transfer charges would reduce significantly in the years to come, and of course, technology would be much improved from what.
Right. Mr. Reba, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, with the first about global versus India, we are building 12 for India.
Right.
As we discussed, right, there are 500 million people who are going to come online. We're going to serve them with meaningful content. So our ambitions are to ensure we give them that meaningful content at the right time. And when it comes to technological gaps, instead of gaps, I would use improvements, right? So there are two focus areas of improvements for us. One is obviously the recommendation engine. For any content startup, the recommendation engine is always at its day one, right? Because there's a lot of feedback loop that's going in, and we are collecting a lot of internal and external signals to have that content delivered at the right time. So I think recommendation engine will see a huge bounds of improvement over the time, and this is one area we'll be focusing on. And second is obviously the input tools or the creator tools, right? Ability for a normal user to post 2 to 3 minute content within no time, and also giving them access to a wide variety of tools and features, right? At smartphones that are as in the range of 10K to 15K would be one of the key challenges for us, and this is the area we are innovating again.
Great. Mr. Sundarani, your thoughts on this?
Sure. So ShareChat is made for Bharat, so ShareChat's focus doesn't change. Moj, which is the video only product that ShareChat has launched, we right now want to focus only on, say, making a killer product. As we're confident on that side, we'll probably go global. But we understand India market better. We understand India content better, so we want to focus on India market right now. From technology challenge perspective, I personally also look at monetization, and the key problem there is around, say, building a good personalization engine, be it for content, be it for ads, recommending right ad to right user. That's the focus area for next 6 months for the company.
Right. Mr. Kumar, so India, global, and the gaps in technology.
Well, for us, while we have a lot of users who are coming from the neighboring countries, more than our 10% audience base is from Nepal and Bangladesh, and we had to do a lot of change to accommodate that. No, so from our end, I think firstly, there's no such platform which is giving sports and gaming under one roof in India, and we are catering to the non-English speaking audience. So there's a huge market to cater to. The gaming audience will grow up to 500 million. Sports is anyways big. So yeah, for the next 2 years, we'll be completely India focused. But since sports and gaming both are universal subjects, we will possibly go outside after that. But only once we have made ourselves big enough in India. And in terms of the tech challenge, I think one of the challenges that we are facing is in the space of data science. We couldn't find some very good resources, and therefore we've just tied up with a Canadian machine learning company to help us work around data to be able to serve better recommendation and work on personalization, etc. So that's one area which is very key. Rest everything is pretty much under control, and we can go from here.
Mr. Khanna, your thoughts? So sorry, your audio is on mute.
Yeah, so Mogi's ambition and vision is definitely to go global. We are already doing POCs with companies, OTT players, telcos in Southeast Asia, Europe, Africa. As regards the technological challenges, we see quite a few actually. Over our 1.5 years of research, we've measured the latency of different CDN players across different geolocations, and we believe there is no one single perfect CDN provider which is there in the market. And that's the reason why we have developed our patented technology, which does real-time switching between CDNs for every individual users to deliver a buffer-free video experience at least possible cost. Second challenge that we see is in the area of transcoding, where we are using AI to not only enhance the quality of the video, but at the same time, we compress the video by up to 50%. And the third area, like Piyush mentioned right now, is the whole area of data science. So, it's actually surprising that, we speak to a lot of video platforms, and I would say 60–70% of them still are evolving, their sense of analytics, and they continue to rely on, Google Analytics, which is a great generic analytics tool. But I think what a video platform needs is something, a tool which is a specialist in terms of giving them insights about how their users are engaging with their content, and then refine their strategy accordingly. So I think that's another huge area. and an opportunity and a challenge as well that we see for video platforms going forward.
Mr. Rao, I want to understand from you that in your interaction with a lot of people, who are looking at very effective distribution platforms, what has been your observation in terms of tech challenges that they have faced? I just want to understand that bit from you.
I mean, there's so many tech challenges, right? The tech challenges is not because India is behind on the technology. The tech challenges because the users are expecting different things at different times as you keep growing your business, right? On the CDN side, we have so many customers who are using multi-CDN. I think Vikrant made a good point that you cannot have one CDN. So you have the Convivas, you have the Sedexes, you have the Ubo, the nice people at work kind of tools who can easily load balance. I think buffering is super, super critical. Time to first byte is super, super critical. Personalization is still a buzzword. I've been to so many conferences on personalization, but I don't really hear an answer to that. So that's still work in progress. Even Prime and Netflix has not solved that. So I think technology security is a big challenge. Security kind of gets treated as an insurance policy with some, in the industry. But look at the attack landscape. It's happening all the time across so many new industries. It's no longer an e-commerce or a bank problem. It's happening in the video space. It will only grow with time. I think in India, the ISP subsidization will happen as Airtel and Jio in the next 5 years becomes the only dominant player in the telco sector. So that will trigger a lot of changes. But technology is evolving. There's so many gaps: security, scale, performance, personalization. You can go on. Transcoding, player itself is a problem. The player on which your videos play, it's a problem. You have companies who invest thousands of dollars on a monthly basis just to have a right player, the video player. So that's my 2 cents on this.
Great. Mr. Yadav, your quick thoughts?
Okay, so answering your first question, which is Indian global.
Global, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So as I already told you that Popexo is by the Indian women and for the Indian women. So we are not deviating from that. We would still be focusing on the Indian women specific issues and videos related to that. Only the content will be around that. And when you talk about challenges, I think there could be numerous challenges, which I can list down right here. Right. Everyone has already added a lot on that, but I'll just stick to the CDN challenges for now. We are talking about an internet growth. We have seen with Geo and all, the penetration has gone so much. And then we are talking about, point of presence of CDN on these tier 4 cities as well now. Because as Ashwin also mentioned, RTT and latency has to be so low for these low bandwidth mobile phones. We have to make sure 3G is there, but still we will have to have adaptive streaming, seamless adaptive streaming. We don't want our user to have that bad user experience where this buffering is an issue. So that adaptive streaming should be there. The point of presence should be there. The CDNs, the new age CDNs should be present in the tier 4 areas as well. So I think these are the challenges which a CDN network should be able to solve.
Mrs. Saini, if you can hear me, yes.
So Tring is an app which our supply base is India. So our celebrities are from India, but our consumers are global. We are catering to consumers all over the globe. A lot of Indians who are based out of India want to talk to Indian celebs, and we facilitate that for them. In terms of the biggest challenge that I see, I'm going to boil everything down to just one word. It's time. It's impatience. Everybody is losing out on patience. Me as a customer, I'm going to click on a YouTube video. If it takes a few seconds to buffer, I'm off the page. No matter how good the content is, I'm going to jump to a different platform, which is going to do it soon. Now, in terms of achieving that, what you're trying to do is you want a high quality, high resolution video. You want it in the smallest package size. So compression is a big challenge. Now you want that small package size to transmit, as quickly as possible to the user's device. So you're going to make sure that you have a good CDN, network, which is going to facilitate that. You want to make sure that the latency is low. make sure that you don't make your user wait. That's the biggest challenge that we face in the video streaming, and the future is video. We got to fix on these challenges quickly.
Right, right. Mr. Venki, what are your thoughts on this?
We are already like 20% of the users are from the rest of India, and
Right.
mostly they're from USA. So we are like continuously focusing on the global from the beginning.
Right.
And the only differentiating factor is obviously the content strategy should be different from each country to country. So the
Right,
content
right.
strategy which we are working on in India is not going to work for USA. So that we are working on that. So, but obviously we are
Great.
we are on global then.
Perfect.
Coming to the technical gaps, especially this content moderation tools is a big task for the short UGC apps, because we need to deploy huge amount of resources to manually do this content moderation. So, and there is no like foolproof tool which will give even 100% or 70% accuracy that okay, this content is good or this content is bad. So there is no tools like as it developed in the market yet. Maybe in the coming years, if somebody fills that gap, that is going to be benefit for the apps like short video apps.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Mr. Verma, your quick thoughts?
Yeah. So like for us, like the first question is like global versus India. So like as a platform name, it's Karnataka India. So always our priority would be like India. So like we are like focus on Indian platform right now. But as we can see our like traction that almost more than 5% users like outside from India. So we also like go for global, but not like in coming year like for like 1 year we will focus on the Indian market and like for the Indian users. And for the technology part, so like we have like right now facing some video quality challenges and like video streaming issues. Some because like our app users like almost from the rural areas, so there's like a very less connectivity of internet. So there's a latency issue in the video streaming. So that is the main issue for us right now.
Right, right. Perfect, perfect. We have been very, missing Mr. Prasad. I'll give one last try. Mr. Prasad, can you? Okay, okay, he is not, I can't see him. So my last question to my esteemed panelists is this. Quick answers, we have some 12 minutes, so I want to get everybody's views. I want to start with you, Mr. Ghosh, that what are the top 3 things that you want the CDN to help you with?
Sure. I think as a lot of panelists have already answered this. So the first thing that the CDN should ensure is the lowest time to first byte. The CDN that you are using should ensure that it has presence in tier 3 and tier 4 cities in India or whatever geographies you are trying to address. So there is something called as edge caching. The CDNs should ensure that they have like a very good caching ratio, and these are the key 3 things I feel that a CDN should be able to.
Right, right. I would request Mr. Prasad to mute the audio, please. Yes, I can hear you now, but just mute it for some time. I'll come to you. Yes. All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Great. I want to come to you, Mr. Reba, with the same question.
I think it boils down to the same factors that our panelists have been talking about. Since most of the presence of our users are beyond tier 2 cities, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 as we move forward. You are talking about mobile networks and you're talking about video consumption. So low latency is anyways on top of the mind, right? So I think it remains the same. The problem statement is still the same for us as other panelists have talked about.
Mr. Agarwal?
Yeah, I think most of this I agree with a couple of panelists. I will summarize it. One is speed. So the replication would be an important factor here because the replication in smaller tier cities would be a beneficial thing. They'll get videos and good time and good latencies. Second is availability. The CDN should be available at any time, and there should not be any disruption in the service. And third is security. So that and the content available on the CDN should not be accessed outside of the application and without the permission of the owner of the content.
Right. Ms. Sundrani, what are the top 3 things that you want from the CDNs to help you with?
It's the same one. There should be no latency. That's the one that is hurting us as well, because a good chunk of user base that we have is in tier 2, tier 3 cities.
Right.
And then there is a security part of it as well. So, I mean, we are investing a lot on creating unique content on the platform, and we want it to be accessible only on the platform.
Right, right. Mr. Kumar, your thoughts?
Well, again, I think most of the points have been covered. For us also, it's one, of course, the latency, and secondly, the cost optimization, because as possibly every other platform here will grow, we need to ensure that the cost is optimized and we are able to, ensure that tech cost doesn't go as much as we can't afford.
Right. Mr. Khanna, your thoughts?
I would say 4 critical, KPIs for me. One is, the whole variability in the whole in the latency aspect, which impacts the, buffering experience of the end user. That variability has to be contained and, to be almost like eliminated and brought down to 0.
Right.
Second is the click to play time. As one of the panelists mentioned, that most of the video platforms that we have are catering to the millennial population, which is extremely impatient. So click to play time is a very critical, KPI. Third is, of course, the cost. Fourth is the video quality, which once again has to work across the length and the breadth of the country, even at extremely poor network connectivity, which is where bulk of this country lies. So I think if you were to ask me to summarize it, it would be, at a very broad level, the theme would be, how do you handle this huge variability, which is there in the country, and which is largely an external factor. A good CDN provider has to understand that and has to proactively handle that, predict that, and deliver optimally for the video platform and also for the end user. And that is one of the key endeavors that we have at Mogi, to provide that level of service to our clients and the video platforms that we are catering to.
Great. Mr. Prasad, I want to come to you with the same question, that what are the top 3 things that you want the CDN to help you with?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. I really apologize.
No worries.
There are a lot of challenges when we are saying about CDN, but performance will be the most important thing, because in tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities, generally, here people are, very less technical and know and how. So performance and video quality. See, most of the users in tier 2 and tier 3 cities are, though they are having talented and all, but they are expecting, they are very much impatient. They are very much impatient in, they can't wait for buffering and all.
Right.
So one of the most important challenges from CDN will be to display the videos as even without latency. To say, it should be as fast as possible. Nobody wants to wait in front of mobile nowadays. Even we can't wait. We do not have patience. So, and the second part will be the cost. Cost is a very important factor. Since we are startup, so our finance, depending on the finance and all, we cannot afford everything from our own. So, to say, monthly, in terms of monthly, it should be well within our budget. So if we can afford something like which is well within our budget, that would be really great. So right now, we are just startup and we have hardly 1 month old. So our audience is also very limited now. So
no, I got it. I'm sorry. I just have to I got those points. I'll come back to you if there is one more question. I'll come back to you on this. I just want to move to Mr. Sani at this stage. So your expectations from the CDNs?
So Royal, it's quite difficult to put forward the top three, but no matter how hard I try, I keep coming back to six of these. I'm going to list them out. The first is the time. Of course, you simply don't have the patience to wait for a video to load. It's got to load quickly. Second is security, because the video is going to be on so many geographies. It's got to make sure that's the security. The third is the market. When I say market, I mean geography. Which geographies is the CDN operating in?
Right.
The fourth, like Ashok Prasad said, cost. Of course, for new businesses, cost is a big point. One of the key ones that I think is for audiences in India, no matter how optimistic we can be, India doesn't really have the best infrastructure for internet. You will have network disruptions, you will have interruptions. So in case during watching a video, if the network interrupts or is interrupted, you should be able to, there should be bits of videos which are cached, and then you can quickly come back to the video. Otherwise, the user is going to lose interest in that video.
Perfect. Mr. Venki, your quick thoughts.
Three things, like for us, one is speed, because as co-panelist said, users can't wait buffering the videos. Second comes the cost. Obviously, for the short video apps, CDN cost is a major chunk of the cost for the entire if you compare with other costs. And third is the security part. So the content needs to be protected. And fourth is also the availability, edge locations, whether the CDN has, when we are going global, whether they are present in across multiple countries or not, because that is a very critical thing for when we are expanding for the global thing.
Perfect. Mr. Verma, quick 1 minute thoughts.
So like for quick, like I'll give us 3 points. So like as the security, second is like buffering issue, that is low latency, and third is cost effective.
Right. Okay, great. Mr. Rao, I want to come to you at this stage. You've heard all of them, and of course, you're providing great solutions to most of the problems. So tell me, how can these things be addressed, what they have said?
Security, security is an ocean. CDNs can only do a part of it. I can tell you what Limelight does. We have digital rights management. We protect a lot of content for a lot of our customers. We have a global presence. I think that's important. I think some of our distinguished guests said India is a unique challenge. Last mile problems are going to be there. We don't have the best infrastructure, especially in rural India, which is growing in viewership. We are heavily focused on building infrastructure in rural India. That's where we want to go. And one of the big things about us is we have a huge cache erosion. So the ability to cache and keep content, 97, 98, 99% of the content, cache it, and then able to serve it to our end users, that's something which we have built into our infrastructure. We are the only CDN in India which does private backbone delivery. So we don't even touch the internet, so which negates a lot of the security challenges. And as I said earlier, we're building in scale. We're not the only one doing it. We have a lot of good competitors. We're also building a great technology base, but we're right there in the mix.
Right. Finally, I want to come to Mr. Ripa at the stage that you have been already using Limelight, and so can you tell us a little bit about your experience of kind of using the technology for the support. A little bit about that. What has been your experience? Mr. Reba, if you can hear me.
Hello?
Yes,
sorry.
Can you hear me? Yes.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I lost you.
Yeah. So my question was that you have used the Limelight solutions. A little bit about it. What has been your experience?
Yeah, I think it's also, when we talk about low latency, right? Even ability to stream videos, and when we also talked about the entire user experience, that's also reflective on our App Store ratings that we look at, right? Today we are one of the highest rated apps even at this scale. We are consistently maintaining 4.5, 4.6, and the feedback that we get from the users around this, right, where we talk about good ability to consume the videos with low latency. I mean, they'll not be able to communicate the same, but this is what we infer from that. So we have seen a great value addition working with them.
Thanks, Vimo. I appreciate the kind words for my business, and we hope that we will continue to support and work as a family, as one partner.
Thanks, Ashwin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to hand it over at this stage. I mean, first of all, thank you. I want to say wonderful discussion, great insights. I think that merits more discussions. This is such a huge topic. And now I'm going to bring in Miss Bhavna Bhatia, who has been patiently listening to us, and she would be kind of saying her final goodbyes to all of us and thanking all of you. Bhavna, if you can hear me, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. So thank you all for joining us on the Limelight Presents E4M webinar on uplifting the short video sharing platforms with new gen CDNs. Well, we've addressed the length and breadth of a topic, and I would like to thank all our esteemed panelists who are some of the best minds from the short video sharing platforms and technology providers in the Indian subcontinent for sharing their piece of knowledge and their thoughts to our audience viewing us live on Zoom and our official E4M Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube channels today. Well, thank you to our all viewers for their engagement through ongoing questions, comments, and live tweets with our hashtag E4M webinar. We hope to keep engaging our audience with relevant content. Thank you so much for your time and patience. And Ruhel, this is me, Bhavna Bhatia, and to our entire panel. Thank you so much once again for joining us. And with this, I sign off, and we will see you with yet another engaging session soon. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruhel. Thank you, Bhavna.
Thanks, Bhavna.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for joining, guys.